Hello friend, I want to tell you about the Ford Focus car. The Ford Focus 2 is one of the common compacts that has managed to compete for the market with the strongest competitors, such as the Volkswagen Golf and Toyota Corolla. Buying this car is not particularly risky, although the overall operating costs can be relatively high. It has been known for a long time that the secondary market is occupied by diesels, but the fear of high repair or operating costs is starting to grow. There are few diesel-powered engines that can be said to be reliable and dependable. The Ford Focus 2 looks most attractive with a diesel under the hood, and although the successful 1.6 TDCi unit fits it like a glove, it has its flaws that can cause quite a few problems. This engine was often combined with a particulate filter. It is delicate in some areas. However, we will take a look at another diesel engine installed under the hood of the second-generation Focus. We are talking about the Ford 1.8 TDCi engine. The Ford Focus 2 debuted in 2004 as a successor to the very successful Focus I. Ford decided on a less bold styling, but improved the Focus in every respect to make it ready to fight for the market not only with the Golf, Corolla or Astra, but also with the modern French. The car retained its greatest advantages, namely the excellent suspension and good functionality, while at the same time raising the bar in every respect. Even today, the Focus No. 2 can be considered a very modern and still contemporary car. Engines. The range of Focus 2 engines is very rich, both in petrol and diesel engines. The first group is opened by a very weak 1.4L engine with a power of only 80 HP. A much better choice is the quite lively 1.616V engine in Focus I, although it lost its temperament in Focus 2. However, it is the most reliable and recommended workhorse, which will endure a lot. Basically everything except for gas operation. The larger 1.8 and 2.0-liter units can be recommended to people who care about dynamics. The ST version with a 2.5-liter turbo engine was also sold, as well as the Hardcore RS version, but that's a completely different car. Diesel engines are no less diverse. In general, engines can be divided into three groups of capacity: 1.6L, 1.8L and 2.0L. The individual versions of these units differ in power and, consequently, in design solutions. Those who want a cheap, reliable and simple engine choose the 1.6 TDCi from the PSA concern with 90 HP. This engine has a turbocharger with fixed geometry and has neither a dual-mass flywheel nor a particulate filter. The more powerful 109 horsepower version has everything, although there are cars without a particulate filter. On the other side there is also the French, top-of-the-range 2.0 TDCi diesel, which gives the driver 110 or 136 HP and provides sensational dynamics, but it is difficult to get, because buying a new car with this engine was expensive. In addition, this engine will generate the highest repair costs of all diesels, although it is very reliable and durable. In the middle is our hero of the episode, the Ford 1.8 TDCi engine generating 100 or 115 HP. The latter is more popular. Compared to the French engines from the Focus 2, this one is already an outdated design. It even has a cast iron head. However, today it seems to be its greatest advantage. Although it has common rail injection, we will not find a particulate filter. And that is a lot for a fairly old diesel. What's broken? So let's continue with the subject of the engine we have chosen for today's material. Although opinions about Ford diesels are not the best, and the 1.8 TDCi engine still remembers the times of the Sierra and Escort, the latter, which powers the Focus, is a successful design. Serious faults occur very rarely, and if they do occur, their removal is not particularly expensive. One thing is certain: there is no particulate filter, and it was the only diesel Focus 2 in which it was never installed. We do not have certain information about the injection system. In the Ford service we learned that in the 1.8 TDCi engine since 2004 only Siemens piezoelectric injectors were installed. They are very durable and refined, but regeneration is practically impossible, and the parts are expensive. However, We allegedly obtained certain information from an independent workshop dealing with the regeneration of diesel injection systems that the 100 HP Focus was fitted with Delphi electromagnetic injectors, which are therefore not very durable, but very simple and cheap to regenerate. The same source claims that the 115 horsepower version was equipped with Siemens piezoelectric injectors, just as Ford's authorized service center claims. In any case, it is best to check the injection system before buying the 115 horsepower version, because spending a few $100s on new injectors right away can be a big turn-off for this model. Sensors can fail in a Ford engine, especially the camshaft and crankshaft position sensor. Another known problem is damage to the intercooler intake pipe. The turbocharger is cheap to repair. Other components are basically unaffected. The timing system is driven by a durable and safe belt, but it does not directly connect the crankshaft to the camshaft, but the camshaft to the injection pump. The pump is driven by a chain connected to the crankshaft. Later, the chain was replaced by a belt in an oil bath. Dual mass flywheels wear out quite quickly, but a lot depends on the way they are used. It is no secret that Focuses are often driven by people who have never heard of or know what dual mass is, and the result is accelerated wear. The second reason is the installation of the self-adjusting clutch without the use of a specialist assembly tool. Yes, replacement is possible without it, but then you should not expect the factory durability of the clutch and dual mass flywheel. You should also remember to replace the central slave cylinder together with the clutch. The Focus II suspension, although quite complicated, is not without its surprises. Its durability can be considered good, although compared to torsion beam or Japanese multi-link designs, it is average at best. Every 80–100,000 kilometers, it is best to replace the rear axle wishbone set. Using good quality parts and replacing the set can bring more benefits than replacing one element at a time. Some mechanics risk replacing only the wishbone bushes, which is not the best idea due to their rather delicate construction. The front wishbone is the exact opposite. If the mechanic has the right tools, he should only replace the bushes and the riveted pin. To regain the Focus II's excellent handling, it is best to also invest in shock absorbers. The braking system is quite troublesome, as it is effective but unreliable. Seized calipers, corroded connecting elements and ABS system failures are basically the norm. Brake lines age quickly, which reduces the system's effectiveness. Ford even announced a service campaign for the brake booster system. In addition, the Ford Focus 2 does not suffer from any major ailments. Sometimes the heater gets damaged and water appears in the cabin. Corrosion only occurs in crashed or post-collision models. To sum up, the Ford Focus 2 1.8 TDCi is a fairly reliable car, but from time to time it will require a larger financial outlay. Operating costs, prices and availability of parts. Fortunately, the Focus 2 is a well-known car on our market and mechanics will certainly be able to handle it. In addition, automotive wholesalers are very well stocked with parts, which makes them inexpensive. Sometimes it is also worth checking the prices at the authorized service center, because they can be competitive. Ford parts are manufactured by Motorcraft, which has almost everything in its offer. Also outside this company we will find relatively cheap and good components, an example of which is the clutch kit with a dual mass flywheel. Taking care of the car will bring tangible benefits because it is usually neglected focuses that generate high service costs. The cost of operation is reduced by good reliability and the lack of a particulate filter. The Ford Focus, apart from its driving characteristics, is no better than the Golf, Astra or Corolla, but it is also no worse. We can assume that it is an average car that is worth considering if you want to buy a compact car and happen to find a well-maintained Focus 2. The 1.8 TDCi engine should not cause any major problems, and the service costs will not differ from the units of the competition. It all depends on the technical condition and care. When asked whether it is worth buying the Ford Focus 2 1.8 TDCi, we answer, yes. Thank you for listening to me. Do not forget to subscribe to the channel and rate my video. If you know of any problems with this car that I did not mention, be sure to write about them in the comments.
I have good news for you. Now, if you are planning to buy a used car, or learn more about your car, you no longer need to search for the information you need on the internet. We have collected everything in one place for you, on the website carme.pro. Here you can find out everything about the car, what breaks and at what mileage, any problems with engines, chassis or gearboxes, which trim levels are better not to mess with, and how not to lose money buying a used car. You will learn all this on carme.pro.